The first weekend of the Modern Warfare 2 beta has concluded, and, well, there's been a lot of feedback that has been sent towards Infinity Ward to discuss what we want to see changed. Today, Infinity Ward put out a blog post directly discussing a lot of the major points of things that we wanted to see corrected, changed, reverted, and whatnot. So, will we get the traditional minimap back in Modern Warfare 2? Will Dead Silence become a perk? In this video, you'll find out. Drop a like and let us know, guys, what you want to see changed in Modern Warfare 2 before launch in late October. Okay, so Call of Duty has put out an official blog post discussing all the things that they're going to be changing heading into the second weekend of the Modern Warfare 2 beta. And this is a big deal because they discuss the things that they're going to be changing, but also they discuss some of the things that were highly controversial in the first weekend that people really wanted to see changed and addressed, and some of these things haven't been addressed since 2019 when they were changed in the original Modern Warfare. So this is a very interesting blog post, and we're going to be breaking it down, discussing all the details, and we want to know your thoughts in the comments, so make sure to leave those and give your opinions on all that we discuss in this post. Now, to start off, they obviously changed a couple of things that we kind of already know about. You probably saw on Twitter and whatnot, but they fixed a bunch of the crashes. There's going to be a lot of the exploits that were addressed, and they're fixed. They patched some map, geo, and lighting issues, which is a big deal because there's a lot of situations where you literally cannot see people, and there's also like weird glitches on walls where like there's flickering lights and whatnot, and texture issues. They updated progression for some gunsmith related bugs, which is really nice to see. But starting off strong with the biggest thing that I think is by far the most requested and most controversial topic, but more so everybody is kind of on the same topic, so not even controversial, more so controversial between the player base and Call of Duty themselves. But this is something that we saw changed in Modern Warfare 19 and was never addressed then. And that is the minimap dot rules. So this is discussing the traditional minimap and the lack of that, I guess I should say, and the fact that there's no longer red dots on the minimap when you shoot your unsilenced weapon, completely destroying the point of having silencers in the game. But basically, they say currently in the Modern Warfare 2 beta, we only show enemy player dots when a UAV is active. The design reason for this, which is the first time we've ever had this addressed and why they decided to do this back in 2019, the design reason for this is that we do not want to punish players for firing their weapons. We also want players to actively search out the origin of a gunshot versus just traveling directly to where the dot is on the minimap. We continue to gather feedback on how the game is playing in regards to this topic. So I don't know if that last statement is kind of some hope that we can hold on to that they might change this or tweak it or find a common middle ground, but the most concerning sentence that makes no sense to me is the design reason for this is that we do not want to punish players for firing their weapons. I think that's potentially one of the most absurd statements I've ever heard come from an FPS game, but I don't know. That's just very odd, and the only reason I think that this might be a thing is because they are trying to make players use the gunsmith more and use suppressor for less recoil and use muzzles and different attachments for less visual recoil, but also visual like smoke and visual muzzle flash and whatnot that's coming off. I think that's what they're trying to do here, but at the same time they also addressed the muzzle flash and saying that they're going to reduce that as well. So I don't know, that doesn't make any sense to me. Moving on, though, we have target tracking. They say we've seen the feedback that it is hard to track targets once you get into a gun fight or firefight, which is extremely true, and this is what we're just talking about with the muzzle flash. It is so hard. I don't know about you guys. Once I start shooting, I'm barely able to track. I completely lose track of my enemy almost immediately, and I'm losing so many gunfights because of this. We agree this is an issue, and we have changes incoming to reduce muzzle smoke, great, the opacity of it, and to increase the visibility of the muzzle flash to help engage someone who is firing at you. These changes should help with tracking your opponents in combat. We also are investigating more ways to visually differentiate enemies and friendlies outside of the standard nameplates above heads on the opposing players. We will be trying a few changes in Weekend 2, more on this later this week. That's a big thing too, because like in this clip, for example, you can see I literally shoot at my teammate KARNAGE Lazy, and then I actually get stuck and get distracted by a decoy, which just shows I'm an awful player. But I literally shoot at my enemy, or I shoot at my friendly teammate, and this happens so many times throughout the first weekend of the beta, more so than any Call of Duty experience I've had before. And at first I thought maybe I'm just bad, maybe I'm losing my skill, maybe I'm just washed. But the fact that this was addressed and complained by so many people is clearly an issue. Now, for user interface, we've seen the feedback around difficulty editing perk packages, managing loadouts, and accessing the armory. We have identified some UX issues as well as some bugs. These are things we won't be able to adjust in time for beta weekend 2, but they are top of mind ahead of launch. So that's huge. UI was a massive complaint for the first weekend. Very confusing, a lot of unnecessary actions needed to get into different menus. This is something that I'm very excited to see. Massive W on Infinity Wards and for that. Moving on, we got perks. We've seen various feedback on the perk package system. Some players love it, and others feel it is an unnecessary departure from the original system. We feel it's a nice shakeup to how perks work and to the general progression of a match. We've also balanced the ultimate perks to be more powerful as you earn them later on in the match. We'll continue testing throughout beta weekend 2, including drastically accelerating the earn rate of these to see how players react. Our goal remains improving the flow of all perks ahead of launch. So it doesn't seem like they're going to be reverting the system. I could have almost guaranteed that to be the case. That's why I didn't really complain about it too much, because they've implemented this whole new system. There's no way they're just going to go back to the original. This is to stay, but at the same time, it is good to hear that they're accelerating it, because I've noticed like halfway through the match, I still don't have my second or my third perk. So that is a big plus. They also address dead silence. They said dead silence is another hot topic, as many players have expressed that they would like to see it as a perk instead of a field upgrade. We believe it is important to game health that rushers are not able to move at high speeds without consequence. Dead silence as a field upgrade creates a balance between freedom of movement and predictability of combat. Now, I don't know how I feel about that. At the same time, the next point kind of addresses and kind of balances it out. So I think it's an okay middle ground. You know, dead silence was very necessary with how bad and how audible the footsteps were in weekend 1. But in weekend 2, they are addressing the fact that footsteps are so loud and you also can't differentiate footsteps between teammates and enemies. So, in regards to footsteps, footstep audio in week 1 of the multiplayer beta was very high, giving players long-distance directional information about enemies. For weekend 2, we have some changes coming in. We are reducing the range of footstep audio for the various player movement states, jogging, sprinting, and tactical sprint. This will help soften the cost of moving around the map. The second change is that the enemy and friendly footsteps are now distinct, so you'll be able to differentiate between your teammates moving and your enemies. This should help players better understand what's going on as things move around on the battlefield, and they're going to be addressing more details in the future. As for the slides, sentiment around the removal of slide canceling remains positive, which, to be honest, I've seen that. It's a very controversial topic, but overall, I thought I was going to hate this change. I don't mind it too much. I don't mind it too much. In Warzone, it's going to be very sad to see that go. I'm going to hold my stance that it should be in Warzone. But for multiplayer, I'm okay with it, honestly. And with time, I'm already adapting to the new game and understanding that this is just no longer a mechanic in the multiplayer experience. So honestly, I'm okay with that. You know, it kind of stinks, but it's okay. It's okay. They also say, we are aware of the workaround and are contemplating how to handle it for weekend 2 of the beta. So if you guys haven't seen, we made a video on it. There's ways to slide cancel still, but there's like a delay when you come out of the cancel. So in my opinion, it's already kind of taken care of. But additionally, we have some other slide changes for launch, which will make this movement feel a bit more fluid and snappy. Thank you. That's a big deal, because regardless of slide canceling, sliding feels very clunky, slow. Basically, you don't want to do it. Very small situations to get behind cover and whatnot. But other than that, you just don't want to do it. So the fact that they decided to make the system a little bit more usable and effective and not gonna get you killed in situations is good. Depending on how they do that, I don't know. We'll have to see. But it's good that they're doing that for weekend 2 of the beta, so we get to tell our feedback on that, so that come launch, it's ready to go. So that's really good. But yeah, that is pretty much it. The crossplay beta kicks off Thursday, September 22nd at 10 a.m. Pacific time or 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm super excited. If you guys are in need of a PC beta code, let us know in the comments, but also follow us on Twitter. We're giving away a bunch of beta codes over there, so check that out. Make sure to follow us at Carnage Clan. With that being said, drop a like on this video. Hopefully this information is what you wanted to hear. Unfortunately, I think most people are going to be upset about that traditional minimap situation. The fact that they didn't really give us a good response to that, and let alone a complete revert back to the original traditional minimap that we've seen in Cold War and Vanguard. Very disappointing. I unfortunately know why they're doing that. They're catering to your casual players that already have SBMM, they already have suppressors, they already have loud footsteps, they have dead silence as a field upgrade, they have fast time to kill, they have all these different things, and that just hurts players that want to play fast and have an aggressive play style in comparison to the players that are a little bit more casual and want to camp. So a little frustrating there. If anything, it would be worth giving those players that want to play aggressively that traditional minimap. That's literally all we can ask for. So I don't know. It kind of stinks, but it is what it is. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and we'll see you guys in the next one.